Hey guys, how's it going? It's day number 5 on the blue 69 Camaro. What I want to get done today, my game plan, I guess, is to I'm going to get the fender well in, the fender extension. I have a new battery tray, so I'll put a battery tray in it and just kind of button up everything underneath the car. I have what I got to change. I can't forget this. This is that piece I was telling you about. Let me show you where it goes. It goes right here. I'll pull that plug out, and now this piece here will give me my vacuum for the brake booster. So I want to get that done. What else do I got to get done? I want to button up everything on the interior, the pillar posts, the body by Fisher, the carpet trim piece there, the sill plate it's called. I want to do that. I want to get the corner pieces in the back there. They're right there. I had the ones that were in there were terrible, so I had to use set. They're pretty good. And I think that's going to be it as far as what I have to button up on the car. And then all I have to do, I'm hoping by the end of the day, is just concentrate on what I'm going to do with this. I'm looking forward to it. So, okay, enough talking. Let's get to work. Hey guys, I just want to show you what I'm fighting with over here. Well, not fighting with, but this, I had to replace this. That's the bolt that holds the bottom of the fender on. The other one, I had to cut off. It just wouldn't come off. But I just want to show you what I was fighting with. And there's something else I want to show you over here. These cars, these first-gen Camaros, they all have these are called isolators. Usually if you have a car and you lose power, and you can't figure out why, it's because of that. Let me see if I get a light. It's because of that isolator right there. What it does is, you front end harness, all the power and everything comes across, from your horn relay and everything, comes all the way across over to here, and plugs into that isolator. Well, it doesn't plug in, it screws in, and then you get power from your battery terminal off the battery, and you'll get this jumper wire. I made it, but I'll show you when I go to put it together. But usually if you have a problem and you lose all power, a lot of the times it's a bad isolator. Sometimes they just rot away and then it just loses all power. So, but I figured, let me show you what I'm fighting with, and while I'm over here, let me show you that isolator. And I'll show you that isolator when it's all hooked up, okay? Alrighty, back to work. before I put the battery in, I just want to show you how the battery mounts. There's a bolt here, another bolt here. There's one here and another one right here. Those two mount through the bottom right here, and the other one gets mounted right there, if you can see it. I got all the bolts in, the fender bolts and everything, which I figured I would. There's one that I couldn't get in because it was broken, the flange on the inside, but it didn't matter, it was in the corner where two came together. Normally you got to take these fenders off to get these inner fender wells in, but if you unbolt the bottom there and take the fender extension out, you could pull the fender enough away from the car to where you could just tuck this right in. And that's how it goes. So I'm gonna keep going. I just wanted to show you what I'm working on. And I'm just gonna keep moving along. Here we go. All right, hold on. Before I put the battery in, I just want to show you this isolator I was telling you about. Here's the isolator right here. Right there. This wire right here, that's the wire that runs through this harness all the way across, down into your voltage regulator and everything, and back down into your fuse panel. That's how it comes around, and then it's fed through this red wire right here, and it goes on to the battery terminal. I'll show you when I put it on, but I just wanted to show you this isolator and what it does. This wire right here, that's the headlight ground wire. There's one on each side. Each headlight has its own ground on both sides. So, but that's what it looks like. I'm going to throw the battery in there, then I'll show you where this goes. Alrighty, here we go. All right, guys, I want to show you where that red wire goes. It comes up here, it comes around. You can tuck it down right here. I bring it around up to here. That supplies all the power all the way around to everything in the car. So sometimes if you get in the car and you don't have any power at all, you're like, I'm getting nothing out of this car. A lot of times it's that isolator. So just take a look. Sometimes they just get a little rusty. So you just gotta clean them up a little bit, and then usually you'll get some power out of it. You know what? Let me show you something else that I do. Before I hook up any battery, that's what I do. I tap it. If I don't see any spark, I know there's no drawer on it. But if there's a drawer on it, this is what you're gonna see. You know, if your interior light, if your door's open and the interior light's on or something, I just click the ignition switch, because the interior light doesn't work in this car. It does, it just needs a bulb. So once you start tapping it now, you see that spark? So I know there's either a dead short or an ignition's on or something's on, so I'll walk around the whole car. And I'll never leave the battery hooked up. Whenever I'm done working on the car, I'll always pull the positive off the battery. And the reason why is one day I had a car very similar to this. It was all stock, like this car right here. It was black with air conditioning. Yeah, another black car. But that's how I bought it. And I dropped it off to Mr. Wilson because, like I say, Mr. Wilson's my go-to guy. A lot of times, if I just have so much on my plate, you know, I'll call Mr. Wilson and he's like, I'll bring it over, and he just runs right through it. So I drop it off. I don't know. The next day, I guess he was, working on the car, and I get a phone call. He's like, "Hey, you're not gonna believe what just happened." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "I was working on the car. I went inside to grab a sandwich. I came back out, and there was smoke coming out from underneath the hood. What happened was he left the battery plugged in. He left the positive on, and I guess it had a dead short, and the car it almost caught on fire. It was smoking really bad," he said. So, that's ever since that experience, every time I'm done working on a car, I'll always unplug the battery. Even this car now, I know when this car has no drawers in it, so it shouldn't be any problem at all. The battery shouldn't go dead. It should be fine. So that's my little experience with the battery and unplugging it. You know, it's just, to me, it's just a habit. That's what I do. But I had somebody send me a comment the other day about this cable and this bracket. The reason why they put that in there was if the motor mount broke, and it was common, if the motor mount broke, these linkages right there, it's a mechanical linkage. It's not a cable. So if this motor jumps up, it pulls that linkage back and it puts the car into full throttle. So what GM did to fix it was they put that cable in. So he had sent a comment. He's like, you know, I know from experience what happens, you know, if that cable's not there and the motor jumps up. So I replied back to him. I'm hoping he gets back to me and tells me a story about what happened. But I'm going to tell you my story. My black 69 Camaro, I haven't gone over it. I'll go over that car. That's a cool little car. I've had that car since, I guess, right around 82. I've had it a long time. It's got a little 380 stroker in it. It's a lot of fun. But back in the day, I had a 468 big block in it. It made a lot of power. And that car on a click would go 11 O's. You didn't even have to tune that car. It would go 11 O's through the mufflers with the stereo playing. Back in the day, it was pretty fast. Just to give you an idea how much power that motor made, when I stopped racing the car, I kind of parked it, you know, in the garage. And, you know, I had the intentions of just bringing the car right back to stock. That's why I didn't want to put a ladder bar setup in it or do anything. I wanted to put that car back to stock, and that's the way it is now. My buddy knocked on the door. He's like, Al, I want to buy the motor out of your car. I'm like, all right. He had a 68 Camaro with a 10-inch slick, all steel car, weighed 3,400 pounds, I guess, or 3,500 pounds. The only difference he did was he put a Dominator on the motor. And the motor needed a Dominator, but I couldn't put it on the motor because I had a 2-inch cal. I wanted to keep the car all stock looking, kind of. I guess as stock as you can make it. The only thing I had on that car was well wheels and 9-inch slick on the back, and that was it. So he ends up buying the motor, puts it in his car, puts a Dominator on it, 10-inch slick, 5-inch snorkel scoop. First pass, I think the car went a 980 or 970. Just to give you an idea what power that motor made. So the story with me, when I first put slicks on the car, I launched it. And as soon as I launched it, I felt the motor jump and it locked my steering column. The header came up and locked the steering column on the bottom. Actually, it went right up against the steering box. I couldn't turn the wheel. It locked it whatever direction it was in. Fortunately, it didn't come up high enough to where it put the motor under full throttle. So I got out of the gas, the motor came back down and had steering. And to really correct it, what I had done was I put a chain from the head down to the frame until I was able to put a solid motor mount in, and that solved that problem. But that's the story with those cables in 69 Camaros. I don't know if the other earlier years had them, but the reason for that cable is so it doesn't jump and lock it under full throttle. So that's my story. You know me, I'm a storyteller. So I just wanted to share that with you. Okay, so alrighty, back to work. right, guys, just want to stop, show you where we are. This was right here. That was that piece. My son threw that in there. And this is the hose that runs across and right up into the power brake booster. But that's pretty much it. Everything underneath the hood now is all finished. And my son's doing the back corner pieces, getting that done. And just a few things we're gonna plug away, and then I don't know if we're gonna keep working because it's hot out. So, but I'm gonna keep plugging away now, and we'll go over everything we did when we're done. Alrighty, here we go. Hey guys, it's the end of the day. It wasn't a long day because it's just hot, and I just want to keep plugging along because you don't have to spend a ton of time on these cars to get them done. A little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, and they get done. So let's go over what we did today. Put the inner fender well in, secured it to the firewall bracket right there. Put the fender extension in, down over there. Put the battery tray in, and hooked up a new line for the isolator. So that's done. This right over here, the power brake booster, the line right there. Here's the line right there. It runs through there, goes all the way back over to there. That's done. My son was over here. He did the pillar post. He did the corner pieces in the back over there. Those back there. He put the gauge covers on both sides. So the only thing left on the interior in this car is the sill plates. And then that's done. Then it's got to be cleaned up because it doesn't look bad, but it's still dirty. It still needs to be cleaned up. So also what my son did, he pulled the tires off right here because I want to get into this tomorrow and start getting into the body work. I'm going to hopefully pick up some material tomorrow morning. I'll run out real quick. I'll grab some of the stuff I think I might need. And this is what we're going to do tomorrow. We're going to work on getting rid of all the gray all around. Any of that overspray right there. This is kind of the look I'm going for. You know, peppered in here and there. I may do like a little rust and then dust it over with blue and then sand it down to where you can kind of see the rust again in some spots. I don't know. It's new to me, but I'm looking forward to giving it a try. So, like I say, it wasn't a long day today, but a little bit at a time gets these cars done. You know, and it's just too hot. But that's about it. So, as always, you know, I wanted to do this video really quick. I wanted to do this video really quick. Just to show you where we are on the blue 69 Camaro. This is the 5th day. So, you know, I mean, if I can get this car done within the next 5 days, let's say it's 10 days. Isn't it a shame it's been off the road for that many years for 10 days worth of work? So, I mean, that's kind of like my whole point of trying to get these cars done right away. That's why I always set a time limit on it. So that's pretty much it. It's the end of the day, and I just want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoy these videos, and take care of yourselves.